Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 1, Onikakushi. So last episode, it was very intense, right? They really showed us the horror of this game, I suppose, this series. And yeah, Rena seemed like she was really possessed last time, right? Possessed, other personality, I don't know yet. But it was very creepy though, right? She even went to Keiichi's house, right? But we didn't know that she was there. Afterwards we knew. But yes, let us begin. Let us continue. So we are, I guess, chapter 9 now. So let's go. Continue. So what are we gonna say to her even, right? When we go to school. Like, hey Rena. You good? Weariness and a headache. Not a very nice way to start the day.
どうしたの？ケイチ、今朝は顔色悪いわよ。
I mean, he couldn't sleep for sure, right? With all the things that's been happening and Rena being like that.
昨夜は何時に寝たの？
It seemed that my mom had noticed my sullen state. Yesterday, I kept on waking up in the middle of the night. I mean, I guess he's being a little bit paranoid now, right? Because maybe Rena's here, right? Maybe she's watching me. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination and forced myself to try and sleep. Except not being able to stand, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Or maybe I just didn't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get to breakfast or to the breakfast table without incident, I still didn't feel at ease.
風邪かもしれない。なんだか食欲ないんだ。
あら、ちょっと熱あるんじゃない？どうする？学校行ける？
Technically, I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, would it? Oh, he's not gonna go to school today? It could have been that I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days because I really did have a cold. If I took a medicine and got a good day of rest, I might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. But this is gonna be much more, how to say this? Because Rena is gonna be like, why is Keiichi not here? Why didn't he go to school, right? Oh no, who's this? Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Rena. Oh, she's here. It was Rena.
レナちゃん迎えに来ちゃったけど、どうする？お休みする？
Rena was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. The lunches she made were delicious and she always looked out for me. Why should I be so scared of something like that? It wasn't Rena's fault. It was probably mine. It had to have been my cold. It just had to be.
休む。ごめん。
じゃあ、母さんが断ってきてあげるわね。
Mom headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room though. I didn't have the nerve to meet with Rena, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep deprived, I quickly fell into a deep slumber. Then when you wake up, Rena is in front of you. I had only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table, I found lunch prepared in the note. Mom and Dad apparently driven off to somewhere far away. It likely had to do with Dad's work. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They would be back for dinner, but it might be a bit late. On the note, it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet. Take it and go to the hospital." There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right. I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it was really just leftovers from the morning and it just in case went to the hospital. Normally, I'd never be here in the middle of the weekday. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Honestly, like whenever, for example, I didn't go to school and then you go outside, like, yeah, it feels kind of guilty, right? Like all your friends, your classmates are in school and you're out here. Yeah, that kind of feeling. Following my mom's map, I took a road I usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. Irie Clinic. That's where the woman worked, right? What was her name again? Takano? Was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Hinamizawa, it was far too grand. There was a parking lot and even a reserved spot for buses. They must be making a mint. I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until it was my turn to be seen.
前原さん、診察室へどうぞ。
After half-heartedly answering all of the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with the old, "It's probably a cold." They gave me a shot and 3 days worth of medicine. I thought it was a little overboard, but if it would clear away the gloomy feeling I'd been having lately, then it was worth it. Shot already? You got a cold and you got a shot? Maybe some, what do you call this again? I forgot. Flu shots. I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. If it just wasn't for that word, I guess Oyashiro.
やっぱり鬼隠しかいね。
Okay, Onikakushi.
どうかね。まだまだ若い子だけゃ。駆け落ちかもしられん。どこの誰とよ。季節のたびに東京もんが来ちょったろ。でっけえカメラ持った若者が。
I guess they didn't know yet that Tomitaki-san is dead, right?
あれと仲が良きゃったって話。知られへんの？
Okay, sorry. We're already talking about Tomitaki-san? I could feel my ears perking up.
そら知らんけど。でも普通駆け落ちっても仁義あるだろう。
True, you gotta have money. You just don't elope in these times. Maybe back then, 100 years ago. 200 years ago.
書き置きとか辞表とか書かんかいね。
すったらんかかんから駆け落ち言うんね。わきゃ看護師さんの顔見られんようなるんは寂しいね。
高野さんはしっかり者よ。どこへ行ってもやっていけろん。
So her name was Takano-san. So yeah, Keiichi doesn't know her name. I think the name we just saw on the tips, right? That woman with Tomitake-san, and she worked at his clinic. Oyashiro-sama's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing, and it didn't seem like they were going to revisit a topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape from Oyashiro-sama's shadow. But of course, Oyashiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hinamizawa. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with a change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned onto a familiar street. Oh, this place. At the moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Maybe it's, Oishi-san. Was I really walking so far in the middle of the road, where I'd be in a car's way? I moved farther off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around and peeved. It is him.
こんにちは。
It was Oishi-san. He stepped out of his car, AC on full blast, and waved at me.
今日はどうしたんです？ 学校はお休みですか？
ちょっと体調悪かったんで、今日は休みました。お昼を買って帰ろうとしてたところです。
そりゃよかった。実は私、お昼に行こうとしてたんですよ。よかった。お体に触るようでしたら構いませんよ。
I was just going to lie down after going home anyway. And I didn't really have a cold.
地元の食堂だと嫌でしょう。
Okay, I'm sorry I accidentally sometimes click the what do you call this, the mouse. Because sometimes they just stop, right? And then they continue. I'm sorry.
町まで行きましょう。ちょっと走りますがよろしいですかな？私、おいしいお店知ってるんですよ。
He said Uishi, he said his name. I finally began to understand Uishi-san's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hinamizawa. Man, I guess we could trust Uishi, man. Like, he's been telling us stuff, right? I went with Uishi-san riding in his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie.
ゆうべは遅くまですみませんでしたね。ご家族に怒られませんでしたか？
No, I think my friend, the one with the orange hair, yeah, she was listening to us, sir.
いえ、
I recalled Rena, who had been listening to the phone conversation all that time, separated from me by just the door. Even now, in the brightness of sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. With a big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with a sudden realization. That's right. This is where Tomitake-san died.
富武さんの捜査は暗礁に乗り上げています。
Oishi-san spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye.
自分の爪で喉をかき破るという異常さから幻覚作用のある何らかの薬物によるものだと信じているのですが。
I mean, yes, it's hallucinogens. I did not know the word last time. I forgot the word. But yeah, basically, like, if you know Scarecrow from Batman, right? Maybe it's something like that. What do you call it? Fear toxin? But for this one, maybe it's something like that. And yeah, that's why he clawed his neck. Like, come on now. If you have a normal thinking, you wouldn't do that. But yeah, he's probably seeing stuff, right? That's why he kept swinging. And then he suddenly clawed his own throat.
こういう症状、それも急激に引き起こす薬物はなかなかないらしいんです。
So either it's gonna be supernatural or it's this one. Just like, yeah, Scarecrow from Batman.
もちろん、検視解剖もそれを念頭に置いて十分に行ったのですが、手がかりはやはりありませんでした。
漫画なんかによくあるじゃないですか。体内に取り込まれると分解したりして証拠が何も残らないなんて、そんな薬。
But yeah, if it's hallucinogens, it's definitely what do you call this? A shot. Yeah, it's not like a drug.
ありますよ。
Like if it's instant like that, someone definitely like stab him with what do you call it again? Syringe, I suppose.
演歌作詞何でしたっけ？まあ、結構あります。でもですね、富武さんのような症状を引き起こす薬物にはそういうものはないそうなんですよ。
じゃあ警察は富武さんは叩いて死んだってそう言うんですか？
I couldn't help but feel that the police were worthless. I mean, if they don't have evidence, they don't really pursue it sometimes, right? I just wanted the idea of a curse to be disassociated from Tomitake-san's mysterious death.
悔しいですが、今のところは。ですが、死因はともかく、死ぬ前に何人かの人間に囲まれて暴行を受けたことだけは間違いありません。たたりでなく、人間が事件に関わっているのは疑いようがありませんよ。
That made me a bit relieved. We passed in front of the rather desolate but still busier than Hinamizawa train station. The car pulled into a restaurant parking and I followed Uishi-san into the shop. Yes, we got the nice music again, so we can calm down. It was pretty crowded, but there was only adults at this hour. Of course, there wouldn't be children here in the middle of the weekday, yeah, because all of them were in school.
2名です。タバコは、我慢します。
こちらへどうぞ。ご注文がお決まりになりましたらお呼びください。
We were led by a peculiarly dressed waitress to our table. I sat with Uishi-san in the booth.
どうです？このお店のウェイトレスさんの格好、可愛らしいと思いません？
まあどうでしょうね。
このお店ね、いっつも大人気なんですよ。お料理よりもウェイトレスさんがね。
What, is this like a maid cafe?
ああ、大石さん、目がやらしいですよ。
そうですか？
But yeah, I like Oishi. I wish that he's just good, right? Like all throughout this game, he's just a good guy, hopefully. Please. Regardless of how the waitresses look, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topic, Oishi-san's after-meal cup of coffee arrived at the table.
昨日、ひなみ沢の昔話が出ましたよね。
ええ、人食い鬼の里だって言われてたって話でしたっけ？
私もあんまり詳しい方じゃないので、うちのおばあ様に今朝ちょっと聞いてみたんです。
Oishi-san took out the notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket. Oh, sorry.
なんでもですね。
Oh no, the
大
music.
昔はひなみ沢は鬼ヶ淵って呼ばれてたんだそうです。
Okay.
鬼ヶ淵、すごい名前ですね。
今でもその名前残ってるんですよ。神主の妻が受水自殺した沼の名前は今でも鬼ヶ淵というんです。沼の底の底は鬼たちの住む国とつながってると言われてたんだそうです。
Of course, nobody had told me anything about such an ominous swamp.
でですね、鬼ヶ淵は恐れられていたと同時に崇められてもいたんだそうです。
A respect born of fear. I guess you could say it was kind of a deification? Deification? A village of inhuman creatures.
鬼たちはある種の仙人でもあったらしいんですよ。例えば、不治の病にかかった村人を鬼ヶ淵に運んで治してもらったりとかしたんだそうです。
But yeah, I'm actually looking at this cake though. 200 yen for this cake? That's pretty cheap, right? 280 yen? I don't know, but yeah. Even if we're calling them demons, Tengu long-nosed goblins or Senin would be more apt description.
鬼って言ってもそんなに悪い人たちじゃないみたいですね。
でもそこはやっぱり人食い鬼らしいんです。ばあ様に聞いた昔話ではですね、息子を治療してもらった代償として連れてきた母親を食わせろとこうなるらしいんですよ。
息子を治療してもらった対価が自分ですか？それは怖いな。
もちろん母親は息子を連れて逃げます。これをですね、鬼ヶ淵に住む村人鬼たちがですね、全員で追いかけて取り囲んで捕まえたんだそうです。
The entire village, apparently. This is quite a frightening thing to imagine, true. Very frightening.
結局母親も息子も捕まって食べられちゃったんだそうです。
So yeah, both of them died then. Damn.
おしまい。
The end.
その話矛盾がありますよ。当事者の2人が食べられちゃったんですから、その話が残るはずがありません。
I mean, I guess Keiichi's right.
ありゃ。昔話はこういうの多いですよね。
I mean, that's why it's stories. In contrast to the gassy tale, Oishi-san laughed heartily while sipping his coffee.
でもですね、他の昔話にも結構あるらしいんですよ。鬼ヶ淵の鬼たちが総出で獲物を捕まえに来るというのは。
I recall that Mion said all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities with how that part about unification overlapped.
鬼たちの獲物は常に一人で、しかも前もって決められているらしいんです。
That caught my attention. Oishi-san also appeared to be pondering what it meant.
ばあ様が言うにはですね、鬼の狩りの時には絶対に邪魔をしてはいけない。家に閉じこもって布団をかぶってろって言うんです。
つまりどういうことですか？
獲物の人を助けたりかくまったりしてはいけないんだそうです。鬼の狩りを邪魔しない限り村人には危害を加えない、そういうルールなんだそうです。
Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities. In other words,
ルールを破ったらどうなるんです？
さあ、何しろ人食い鬼ですからね。
many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of a story he told me overlap with a theory that the entire village was in on the crime. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die when there's a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it.
じゃあ大石さんはやっぱり村ぐるみもしくは村人数人の犯行だと見てるんですね。
前原さんはどう思います？ああ、すみません。コーヒーのおかわりいいですか？
That's what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say that last part. He waited for the waitress to finish pouring the coffee before speaking.
去年、サトシ君が失踪した頃から私は不審に感じていたんです。
Oishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee.
それで、サトシさんのお友達、つまり前原さんのお友達グループの皆さんをちょっぴりだけ、本当にちょっぴりだけですよ。
Okay.
調べさせてもらったんです。
If Oishi-san had said this to me before, I would have gotten angry at him for calling my friends into question, but yes, after seeing what happened with Rena last time, right? It's different now. But as I was now, I couldn't.
とてもつまらない話になります。前原さんがつまらないと感じたらいつでもおっしゃってください。終わりにしますので。
Oishi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I'd ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Oishi-san, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi. This is probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth.
お願いします。
That was all I could utter. Oishi-san stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began.
1年目の事件の被害者は現場の監督さんだったんですが、事件の数週間前に園崎美音さんと取っ組み合いをしてるんですよ。
Wait, the victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer, and how old was Mion back then?
何度か。
Oishi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. So how old is Mion now? Maybe like 14, 15, something like that, right? So she was fighting back then when she was super young? I guess? Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up.
2年目の事件で誘致派の夫婦が事故に遭いましたよね。現場にはお嬢さんも一緒にいたんです。
Okay.
それが北条聡子さんなんです。
Oh, Satoko Hojo.
サトコってサトコ？
Luigi-san Luigi-san's look told me that my voice was too loud. I realized it as well and quickly quieted down.
3年目には神主夫婦が亡くなられますよね。
Okay, let me guess. Related to Rika.
そのお嬢さんが古出リカさんです。
All of them were related to our friends. How about Rena though?
リカちゃんが？
4年目に亡くなった主婦はもうわかりますね。北条聡子さんの義理のおばです。
So twice for Satoko.
当時は聡子さんはご両親を事故で失っていましたので預けられていたのです。被害者宅に。
I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distance myself from. But clicking and clacking, it had snuck all the way to my feet.
ちなみに4年目に失踪した北条聡さんは聡子さんの実の兄になります。
Okay, so it's Satoko's brother.
そのちょっと待ってください。
It took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. But Oichi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last of things I shouldn't have heard.
被害者たちはなぜかあなたのお友達グループに全てつながるのです。
偶然に決まってるじゃないですか。
Yeah, all of them, except Rena.
前原さん、静かに静かに。
Yeah, first one was Mion, right? Second was Satoko. Then the priest was with Rika. Fourth one was Satoko's step aunt and then brother. So Rena, the one we saw who was very, very different last time, is, I guess, not related to any of them, right?
みんな見てますよ。
No connections, I mean. Mion, Satoko, Rika-chan. So what if they're connected? You're telling me all my friends? It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Rena is different, isn't she? I mean, Rena said she moved here last year, right? So Rena isn't connected with the victims at all.
竜宮レナさんは去年まで茨城の郊外にお住まいでした。
So what is her background for Rena though?
まあ確かにいずれの被害者とも直接の面識はありませんが。
He said that in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected?
実は調べてみたら竜宮さんは引っ越しの少し前に学校で謹慎処分を受けているんですよ。
Okay.
なんでも学校中のガラスを割って回ったんだとか。
レナが学校中のガラスを割った？
So she had a history of, I guess, what do you call this again? I forgot the term though. Vandalism? That same spacey Rena had. I couldn't even imagine it.
3日間の謹慎が明けた後も復学しなかったようです。その間に神経科に通院し、何週間かの間、投薬と医師によるカウンセリングを受けています。
Dysautonomia. Okay. I wonder if it's something like a nervous breakdown. I'd heard that it happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive, sorry. Neither of those match Rena's easygoing personality.
でですね、そのカウンセリングをした医師のカルテに、レナさんの会話内容が記載されているんですがね、その中に出てくるんですよ。結構。
何がです？
Yeah, what did? I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret.
出てくるんですよ。お社様って単語が。
So even back then, she keeps mentioning Oyashiro-sama. Archie's already mentioning that, I mean. It felt like someone's stone cold hand was caressing my back. Why? Why had Rena spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa?
親代様っていう幽霊みたいなものがですね、夜な夜な自宅にやってくるっていうんですよ。枕元に立って自分を見下ろすんだって。
Yeah, my mind froze, of course, because it's not in the village anymore. It was from back then, and she was already, I guess, doing or know this. I mean, I couldn't process what I was being told.
その後、しばらくしてひなみ沢に引っ越されたんです。
Where are Rena's parents, by the way, right?
ああ、そうそう。レナさんはよそ者なんかじゃないですよ。
え？
住民票で分かったんですが、竜宮一家は元はひなみ沢の住人です。
Okay.
レナさんがちょうど小学校に上がるときに茨城へ引っ越されたんです。
My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension.
前原さん、大丈夫ですか？もう終わりにしましょうか。
Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here.
レナのことは分かりました。じゃあ最後の被害者の富武さんはどうなんですか？誰と接点があるんですか？
Oh yeah. Irritated, I let out one final reprisal.
全員ですよ。
All of them? What?
お忘れですか、前原さん。みんなで楽しくお祭りの晩を過ごしたじゃないですか。
So that was the connection because we spent time together?
何人もの警官が皆さんの楽しそうな様子を見ていますよ。
Now there was nothing I could respond with. I felt silent as my brain turned to mush. But yeah, that was the only connection
そ
though.
ろそろ出ましょう。
To Tomitaki-san is, yeah, they spent time together. That was it.
ああ、前原さん。お昼の薬は飲みましたか？
I had completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten today until Oishi-san said that. I got another glass of water and we left the shop after I chugged it down. We got in the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. Like it was saying, Keiichi, get your ass out of here. That big jolt was from the difference in elevation of the road when it changed from cement to dirt. I was certain that I heard Tomitaki-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car.
お家の前まで送りましょう。今日は病気でお休みだったんですよね。
But I don't know though. Yeah, if our friends, or even if just Rena, right? If she went to our house and she sees the car, oh hell
長
no.
々とお話ししてしまって申し訳ありませんでした。
She's gonna be like, oh, you were with that guy again, right?
なんで俺に話すんですか？
I blurted out the question. Really, I just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer.
私、一応確認しましたよね。お話やめましょうかって。
じゃなくて、どうして俺に接触してきたんですか？
I understood quite well that Uishi-san was investigating this string of suspicious incidents. But why was he telling me all of this? I knew nothing and I couldn't help. Everything Uishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, possibly know? By chance, if there was a reason for Uishi-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I was part of Mion's circle of friends who looked suspicious to Uishi-san.
私ね、今年で定年なんです。
Don't say that though. I'm retiring this year. Don't say that and then you happen to die? No.
定年したらばあ様の意向で引っ越しちゃう予定なんですよ。だからこそ在職中にこの事件だけははっきりさせておきたかったんです。
で、大石さんは疑ってるんですよね。 みんなを。
But the thing is, like, sure, maybe yeah, Rena and Mion are teenagers, right? But yeah, the other two are just little kids, basically. How could they do that? I mean, I guess, like for example, Satoko, right? And she could have pushed, yeah, the couple to the cliff, right?
これは
Maybe.
この道30年の勘です。
I don't know.
前原さん、危ないのはあなたなんですよ。
I wanted to reply with that's absurd, but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it.
私は今年で定年ですから、来年の綿流しの日にはもういません。だから今年中に決着をつけたいのです。
In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Onikakushi, I might be the next victim.
所長からも注意を受けています。一連の事件は個々に解決しているから蒸し返すなというんです。これは一種の圧力です。
圧力って何のですか？
ひなみ沢の誰かです。着きました。
We've arrived. Okay, we're
こ
home.
の辺でいいですか？
After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears.
今日の話はすべて忘れてくださっても結構です。ですが、私は捜査を続けますよ。お社様のたたりは今年で終わらせます。
Hopefully.
何かあったら連絡しろってことですか？
いいんですよ。前原さんがどうしても連絡したくなった時だけでいいんです。
I wasn't collected enough to understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying it.
ゆっくり休んでください。病気でお休みの時によくない話ばかりして申し訳ありませんでしたね。
True though, he was sick today and he went outside. Rather than rest, right? I didn't really give any sort of response.
私はいつでもあなたの味方です。それだけは信じといてくださいよ。それじゃあ、失礼。
The tires crunched over the dirt road as the car made a U-turn and disappeared into a cloud of kicked-up dust. It felt like I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Oishi-san was being unfair, telling me I was going to be the next victim than just saying to contact him if something happened. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing, and I was just a bait dangling off the line. Would the fish be the perpetrator? Or was it really just Oyashiro's massacres? Either way, the bait would be swallowed whole.
畜生、俺死にたくないよ。
For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the AC from the car. Okay. Rest. Okay, I guess we go to the next part now. We're back. I wonder how much time had passed since I laid down. It was getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. It would probably be a good idea to change my sheets. At the moment, the phone downstairs rang. It was probably Mom. Mom was quite the worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I just didn't notice it.
もしもし、前原ですけど。
Here we go.
お、生きてた。
It's
もしもし。
Mion.
ミオンだけど。具合はどう？
圭一のお友達ですか？圭一は休んでますけど。変わりましょうか？
あ、お父様で？
He's pretending.
すみません。
バカで
I mean, at least he's having fun right now, right?
引っかかってやがるよ。
じゃ
I thought he was gonna be like super serious when he was gonna talk to his friends, but yeah, he's at least having fun right now. After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Except I was suspicious of her even as we were laughing. Was everybody really involved in the incidents? The fact that I couldn't say no saddened me.
元気そうで安心したよ。レナもすっごく心配してたよ。
I'm sure she is.
さとこは邪魔はないですわって喜んでたな。
What the hell? I mean, Satoko was happy and said you got what you deserved.
リカちゃんは病気でかわいそうですってさ。
チェ、みんなで勝手に大盛り上がりしてたみたいだな。
まあまあ。でさ、ケイちゃん。お見舞いに行っちゃ都合悪いかな。
Oh, she's coming, okay.
お見舞い？いいよ、そんな。重病人ってわけじゃないんだから。
うちのバッチャが山ほどおはぎを作ってさ。
Mochi?
お裾分けに持ってけって言ってんだよ。だから持ってくね。
おいおい、風が移っても知らねえぞ。
おじさんもレナもおバカさんだから大丈夫。じゃあね。
Oh, wait, Rena's coming as well? What?
すぐ行くから。
She hung up cheerfully. Rena's coming too? That's what it sounded like. Oh, hell no. No! I was so concerned about meeting Rena, but I guess if she was with Mion, yeah, probably she's gonna be just, what do you call this? Normal, I suppose? Cute mode Rena? Okay, here they are. I heard the doorbell 10 minutes later.
どんな感じ？ちゃんと薬飲んで寝てた？
そりゃもうしっかりとな。
元気そうでよかった。心配してたんだよ。
悪かったな。明日にはもう大丈夫だよ。
Honestly, it's like nothing happened, right? When Rena is talking like this. Mion showed a complete lack of concern for someone who's recovering, and Rena looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart. It didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions.
ちょっとお邪魔しようかと思ったけど、まだ本調子じゃないみたいだね。
そうか？
It seemed my face appeared a bit sullen.
じゃあこれ、ケイチくん。みーちゃんのおばあちゃんが作ってくれたおはぎだよ。
The mochi, okay. Thank you. Rena held out the package wrapped in newspaper. There might be about 5 in there. It was quite hefty.
まあ、サンキューな。ミオンのばあちゃんによろしく伝えといてくれよ。
その中にね、レナが作ったのも混じってるんだよ。
Oh, she even made one? Okay.
ケイチくんに見つけられるかな。
これ、今日の部活を欠席したケイちゃんへの宿題ね。おはぎにアルファベットがついてるから、明日回答すること。
お見舞いなのか部活なのか、どっちかにしろ。
元気元気。これなら明日は大丈夫そうだね。
この騒ぎで熱がぶり返したらどうしてくれんだよ、まったく。
みーちゃん、あんまり騒いじゃ悪いよ。もう行こう。お家の人にも怒られるよ。
Both of them thought my parents were home. It was because the entranceway was a mess.
そうだね。もう行こっかね。
Okay, bye bye, friends.
そうそう、ケイちゃん。
なんだよ。
お昼、
Oh, hell.
何食べた？
What the hell, man? Oh my god. He suddenly just stopped and just silent and look at her eyes. The sudden question startled me and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion. I'd never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. Dude, kick them out, Keiichi. Kick them out. But why? She's asking me about what I ate for lunch. What she said was so inane and it was almost meaningless. The way she said it, it was almost like she didn't even care at all about what I ate.
表で食べたよ。
She must have suspected that I was with Uishi-san. Anyway, I felt that if I hesitated or tried to change the subject, then they'd read too deep into it, so I tried answering as quickly as possible. Except, contrary to the efforts I had made, there was a pause before they replied.
圭一くん、お昼は外食だったんだね。
The glimmer from Rena's eyes have changed at some point as well. It was now sharp, as if to make me feel feigned ignorance behind her words even more. As she already knew that that's how it looked to me.
どう？美味しかった？
なんでそんなことを聞くんだよ。
Mion was speaking in an unusually low tone, almost as if she knew that I had eaten at the restaurant in town. Now, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been in school at lunchtime. There was no way they could have known where I was.
渋いおじさまとご一緒だったみたいだけど。誰？
Oh my god. Were they watching Keiichi? Plop. The package with the mochi I was holding slipped out of my hands. I could tell the blood had drained from my face, making me go pale. I told you, man, they were watching him. Oh no.
へえ、圭一くん、それ誰？
Or maybe just when they went back home, right? Maybe there.
ひょっとしてこの間の人かな？かな？
I could feel the back of my throat going dry. Same. It was no longer a bluff. They knew everything.
なんでそんなことわかるんだよ。
It took everything I had to finally force those words from my throat. My knees were shaking.
さーてね。おじさんにわからないことはないからね。
Mion sneered knowingly, and her laugh seemed to carry on forever.
で、ケイちゃん、何のお話をしてたの？ずいぶんと熱くなってたみたいだけど。
みんなの話はしてないよ。ミオンともレナとも関係ない。
ふん、聞いてもないのにレナたちの名前が出るなんて、なんだか怪しいな。
Oh no. Rena's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peered further inside me. I'd dug my own grave, true. My heart was throbbing so much, it felt like it was going to explode.
ま、何を隠れてやろうとも、おじさんには全てお見通しってこと。それだけを忘れないでくれればいいかな。
I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had to stop my teeth from chattering. She never let her gaze break from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly.
圭一くん、顔色悪いよ。もう横になった方がいいと思うな。
I mean, I would lie down if you just could go out of my house.
そうだね。私たちはもう帰ろう。
Okay, lock it. Lock the door. Lock the door, Keiichi. I hadn't moved a muscle since I had dropped the package of mochi. As they left the door closed or slowly closed behind them. All I could do was stare, as if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was just about to close, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak, sending my heart racing once again. Oh no. A single eye peered in through that narrow slit, and Mion's hawkish gaze peered at me once again.
じゃあね、ケイちゃん。
Jesus, man.
あ、
These psycho girls, what is wrong with you?
明日、学校休んじゃ嫌だよ。
I'd hate it if you miss school tomorrow. Thud. The door closed. I wasn't able to move a muscle even after the low laughter died off into the distance, and silence once again enveloped the room. Coming back to my senses, the first thing I had was lock the door. They knew what Oichi-san and I talked about. Why? And how? No, that wasn't important. thinking about it now, all of it could have been overheard from the beginning when Oishi-san met me. Just as Mion said, I couldn't hide anything. Then, what were they trying to tell me? That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did they deem unnecessary then? I only talked with Oishi-san about one thing, and they were warning me that that was unnecessary. So what was it that Oishi-san talked to me about? The incidents involving Oyashiro-sama's curse that occurred every year weren't individual cases, but were connected as a whole, as well as the fact that there may be multiple perpetrators hidden within Hinamizawa. No, more precisely, that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. Is that what they were warning me against?
何バカなこと考えてんだよ俺。
I hit my own face hard enough that it let out a loud slap. If only that would wake me from this nightmare, but for some reason it felt like I was punching a blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down. Settle down and sort things out. The reason Mion knew I was eating lunch with Oishi-san was probably because somebody from Hinamizawa just happened to be there at the time. Yeah, it's possible though, right? And when they were talking earlier, like, they said like, oh, people might be, looking because how loud sometimes Keiichi was talking, right? They must have told Mion that I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked, was it good? They were just curious since I was together with someone not from Hinamizawa. It's not as if they had any ulterior motives. That's it, that has to be it. Thinking about it that way, it was the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous about when I met with Oishi-san, and Rena was just correcting me on that. That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the usual mild-mannered Rena and was just startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. Honestly, Keiichi he's trying to, what do you call this? Yeah, he doesn't want to believe his friends could do that, I think. I forgot the word though, but it felt like my mind was mixed up with all this tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce would have poured out of my nose and ears if you squeezed my head. Thinking that, I suddenly felt like vomiting. I really didn't want that to happen, so I stopped holding my head. Lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. Spending time with them was fun. It didn't feel like there was any sort of a hidden agenda. I really do think they're a good bunch of people. When I just moved here and couldn't make heads or tails of everything, they were really kind to me. Rena was really kind and always looked after me, as long as that strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head. She was really pretty cute. Mion is also a really good person. She didn't care about anyone's age or gender and was optimistic and outgoing. I was never bored when I was with her. And talking of not getting bored, rambunctious Satoko was a good person for that too. She was pretty bratty, but that was just the way she interacted with others. Rika-chan was the same way. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. But after hearing of the better untold secrets of Hinamizawa from Oishi-san and Tomitake-san, when I was told about Oyashiro-sama's curse, things started going crazy. Then hearing from Oishi-san that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. After that, everything changed. That's right. It all started getting weird after Oishi-san told me all the strange stuff. At the time, I really should have just not listened to those weird stories. I shouldn't even have asked Tomitake-san about the past incidents on the night of the Watanagashi. Maybe like Keiichi's being paranoid, right? And yes, we're seeing his perspective. Maybe he's just being very, very, very paranoid about this stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, it looks really real though, right? I mean, the way the girls changed, right? They were normal and then later they were just very serious, so I don't know. If I just hadn't gotten that strange sense of curiosity, if I just hadn't. That's right. So that's why they... Was it killed? Killed Tomitaki-san? That impudent outsider speaking to the likes of me after everybody went out of their way to keep it a secret from me. They'll probably kill Uishi-san as well. For trying to unearth what everybody was warning me was better left buried. Besides that, he was unforgivable for spewing words that made me doubt the others. Of course, a guy like that is going to be killed. Why are they blurring this though? Both Tomitake-san and Uishi-san were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities who couldn't exist with the people of Hinamizawa. Those guys should just fall to Yashiro-sama's curse and just, I guess, die. It wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not being able to hold back my curiosity. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling like I had just gotten up, but the ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I was fine now. I was no longer frightened. I had completely recovered. I'll go to school tomorrow, right as rain. I'll greet everyone. I'll take part in the club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It had to be fun. I was one of them after all.
あ、そうだ。おはぎ食べないと。どれがレナの手作りか当てないといけないんだよな。
I remember the homework the two brought with them when they visited me. But wow, our club did delivery. What? Our club did delivery? That was something else. I picked up the package I dropped on the floor and headed to the living room. It would be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. Mochi, right? To fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh, this was quite a delectable situation I was in. Opening up the newspaper wrappings, there were 5 plump red bean paste mochi fit snugly inside. There were letters written from left to right on the newspaper. A, B, C, D, and E. So I guess we're gonna find out or try to find which one Rena made. Now then. They said Rena made one of these, so I wonder which one. There wasn't much different in how they looked. They smelled and appeared about the same. This was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was probably their shape. I wasn't sure what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Rena's had to be different from hers. Looking carefully, I could see one mochi that was made very neatly. So, well, that, just by staring at it, one could tell it stood out.
この一個がレナのか否かが勝負の分かれ目みたいだな。
Calm down and think even harder. Mion had said her grandma made a ton of them and was told to give some out, if I remembered correctly. So that meant 4 of these were from the large batch. Then what about Rena? She probably only made 1. So she probably spent quite a bit of time on it. Meaning the one Rena made was this one, E. For a moment, I thought it may have been a trap Mion laid as she knew I'd pick up on it, but probably that wasn't the case. I wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it, but since she said Rena made it, it probably wasn't a trap.
よし。お茶も準備 OK。まずはディフェンディングチャンピオンのミオンのばあちゃんからだ。どれ？
Not bad. The smooth bean paste and soft chewy texture left little to be desired. The tea I drank afterwards also accentuated the experience. This was an exquisite piece of work. Now, how about Rena's? The creation was so delicate, one would think it was a high-class Japanese dessert. I mean, Rena is always making them food, right? So I guess her presentation is really good. Since I normally had quite the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion. But, well, first a bite. This was quite a difficult one to judge, actually. The ingredients were exactly the same, so there was a little difference in the flavor. What was different was how it was shaped at the end, so it was to be expected. So the deciding factor would be presentation and volume. The well-formed and well-sized champion versus Rena the challenger with a size you just couldn't get enough of. I'd only had one bite of Rena's. I'd probably have to wait until after I was done eating to make my decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside that could cause an upset. It seems my prediction was right. Okay, maybe it has a very, very nice feeling, right? My tongue touched something. It didn't feel like something edible, so I reached in with my fingers and grabbed it. Okay, what? What was this? What? Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw away the rest of the mochi I was eating as fast as I could. Oh my, what did she put there? It slammed against the wall, causing the bean jam to splatter. Then, after sticking for a moment, it slid down to the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own actions. What was I doing? Rena had gone out of her way to make it for me. How could I? Dumbstruck, I looked down at the hand that performed such a vile act. Then I remembered what I had taken out of my mouth. At first I thought it was a hair. Ugh. Even though it was shorter than Mion's, Rena's hair was still quite long. And it wasn't this short. It was also a bit too hard to be hair. It was thick enough to roll around my tongue. There was a bit of metallic sheen on one end of it. There was a hole for where the thread goes, like it was a sewing needle. Oh my, she put a needle inside the mochi? That was right. Oh my god, it looked very much like a sewing needle. Exactly like one. The end was pointed as well, quite sharply. Oh my god, Keiichi. Oh no, it really did look just like a sewing needle. What did I mean by looked very much like a sewing needle just a bit ago? I couldn't answer, but a voice inside me already knew and let me know by chattering my molars together. I couldn't stay off the terror welling up inside me. Suddenly, I tasted something metallic and felt a prickling pain at the back of my throat. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth and felt around to see if I was bleeding. Suddenly, I felt the urge to vomit. The sharp taste of the bile irritated the back of my throat. I clasped both hands over my throat and after writhing in agony, I was somehow able to hold back the nausea. I was finally able to breathe normally again, but this time, my heart was throbbing intensely. Dude, of course, if you see someone put a needle in your food, who knows what that person could put in the food itself, right? And then it finally registered exactly what was mixed in with the mochi. Before I could think of the correct word, my hands were already on the move. I tossed the rest of the mochi against the wall. Oh, we can see it now, look. You tossed it next to the refrigerator. The geometrical patterns of the scattered bean gem on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind. After looking away, I dashed out to the hall and flew upstairs to my room where I stayed under my covers until morning. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration. This wasn't a threat or a warning or a reminder, nothing simple as that. What had happened in Hinamizawa? What is happening in Hinamizawa? What would happen? I didn't know the answer to any of those questions. Where did I break the taboo? Regardless, now Mion, or now Rena and Mion and the others, they considered me an enemy. And they thought I should just die. I won't let you kill me. Not for such a pointless reason. I fell into a restless sleep as I was crushed by my negative emotions. It was as if I was being drawn into a billowing, bottomless swamp. Jesus, man. Okay, you got tips? But yeah, Keiichi is pretty much, is the word in denial. He doesn't want to believe that his friends could do this, right? He's trying. Because yeah, that is his friends. All of them. So, I don't know. He's gonna be much more paranoid now. And this doesn't help. This with the needle and stuff, right? That's gonna make things worse. So let's just check the tips. Okay, what's a drug that makes you commit suicide?
単刀直入に自殺させる薬ってないんですか？
直接的にはない。
遠回しですね。では間接的にはあるってことですか？
自殺したくなる精神状態を誘発することはできる。ちゅうことだ。
難しい言い方になりましたね。何ですかその自殺したくなる精神状態ってのは。
例えば一般的な心理学見地から言えばじゃが、心理面が内向状態から外向状態に転じるときに最も自殺が多いと言われちょる。
Clinical depression and bipolar disorder are different. Clinical depression indicates a prolonged state of depression, whereas bipolar disorder is characterized by a passive depressed state accompanied by a very active manic state.
内向状態の時は自信を喪失し非常に悲観的だ。だが自殺もせん。自殺をする気力すらないからだ。逆の状態もまた自殺をせん。今度は逆に非常に自信過剰で行動的なので自らを順風満帆と思う。だから自殺などせんのだ。
なるほどね。どっちの状態でも自殺をしないのに状態が入れ替わるときに自殺するんですか？
内向状態には自殺願望はあるが自殺という大仕事を遂げる気力すらもない。だが外向状態が始まると徐々に気力が充実し体の自由が利くようになってくる。
なるほど。つまり自殺する気力が回復するわけですね。
そういうことじゃのう。だからこの時期に変な気を起こさんように処方箋を施すわけじゃな。
では富武氏はこの心理状態だったんですかね。
一般的に自殺はちゃんとした文化的な手法で行われる。道具を使用してな。
Civilized, meaning like normally, right?
自虐行動とは全く違うぞい。
富武氏の自殺は文化的じゃないですよね。ではやっぱり何かの中毒と考えるのが自然ですか。最初に言った自殺したくなる精神状態を起こす薬ってのを教えてください。
鎮痛薬の一部には心理を内向から外向に過剰転換させる効果があると報告されとる。それから催眠作用を持つ薬を異常摂取した場合にも異常行動が報告されとるが、あまり一般的ではないの。
I guess, yeah, I guess I was saying earlier that it might be a shot, but yeah, it might be what do you call this? Some powder or maybe gas, right? That made him do all of that.
その2つは検視の報告だと違うみたいですね。他の可能性は？
あとは病気しか考えられん。甲状腺異常を引き起こす病気にしばしばそれに似た症状が報告されとる。だがそれらは概して特徴的な症状が多い。仏は違うの。
もっと突発的に発生するものはありませんかね。 今回のケースと合うような突発性で自殺したくなるようなやつです。
他には、そうじゃな。脳障害によって精神に異常を発生する状態じゃな。
Organic mental disorders.
これは薬物中毒でも起こるが、脳の外傷や一部の病気なんかでも起こる。
つまり薬によらなくても異常な精神状態に陥る可能性があると。
仏は犯人に囲まれて命に危険が迫っとったんじゃろ。極度の緊張が続いて、それに分泌異常が重なって、さらに打ちどころが悪くて脳に障害が起こり、自虐行動に走った可能性もあるかもしれんの。
もうちょっと省略して言ってくれませんかね。
つまり乱闘中に豆腐の角に頭ぶつけて、それで異常が発生したと言っとるんだ。
じゃあ星には殺意はなかったってことですかね。ちょいと小銭を巻き上げようと思ったら、たまたま殴りどころが悪かったと。
The two plump men laughed hoarsely.
なんてわけはありませんね。
いかにも。薬物の常用にせよ、精神的なものにせよ、仏の身元が鍵を握っとるぞい。そっちはどうなっとるんじゃ。
あら、こんな時間、そろそろ戻らないとクマちゃん怒っちゃいますね。
おお、頑張れよ。いいお年をの。
いいお年を。
Best wishes. Okay, the next one. Brett. Oishi
お
again.
や今の皆さんは確か
議員バッジが2人いたっすね。
じゃあ県議と市議の園崎だ。
City Councilor Sonozaki?
面白いっすね。親戚同士で県議と市議やってんすか。
So both of them are Sonozaki. Okay, Mion's family is, I guess, suspicious. Not just Mion.
これがずるいんですよ。お互いの名前で慈善運動バンバン。片方の選挙中にはもう片方が別に講演会を開いて二重に選挙運動やってんですよ。堂々と。
よくわかんないんすけど、それって公選法違反じゃないんすか？
慈善運動にならない限り政治活動は無制限ですからね。公選法くらいは勉強してください。
俺、知能犯科は無理っす。バカですから。
There was a prefectural assembly member, Sonozaki, and city councilor Sonozaki. Also the mayor of Hinamizawa. So they're all influenced by the Sonozaki family. What crap.
お見送りしてんのは副所長とうちの課長っすね。
It came to me. That night, when the department chief invited me along to get some Odin, I thought that was it.
大石さんは友達多いから聞いてるかもしれないけど、聞いてるかな。
いいえ、何も。
お母さん、ガモにはんぺん頼みます。所長んとこに議員の怒鳴り込みがあったんだよ。
あれま、そうなんですか。あ、お母さん、私にもう一杯ください。
Prefectural Assembly member Sonozaki and City Councilor Sonozaki were both intimidating. Our snot-nosed career police chief couldn't handle being yelled at by them. They're like Yakuza.
ひなみ沢事件の捜査の仕方で君を指名して陳情してきたよ。
ありゃ、私？はてはて。
とぼけるなよ。例のひなみ沢の過去の事件。蒸し返してるだろ。
私、富武殺しで手一杯でそんな余裕ないですよ。ね。
本当に？本当にそうならいいんだけどさ。
There was a period of silence. While we were silent, we made headway on our food and drink.
いやー、ごちそうになっちゃいました。今月は負けっぱなしだったんで財布つらかったんですよ。助かりました。
いや、いいよ。また馬教えてよ。大井さんと同じ馬を買うから。
最近はダメです。馬の声がさっぱりですから。タクシー！
I'm going by train. The department chief is taking a taxi. I have my own car, but it'd be rash to drive it at home. Can't blow it right before the retirement with a DUI. Yeah, at least he's what do you call that again? He's not okay. I mean, I don't know if I forgot the word, but at least, yeah, he's gonna use a train because he's drunk, right? And he might, yeah, that's bad. Don't drink and drive. Even though he could still rattle off, it looked like his legs were already jelly. Pushing him to the cab, I gave the driver the department chief's address.
ではではまた明日。良いお年を。
大井さん。
はいはい。
過去の事件は全部個別に終わってる。縦に並べるのはやめるんだよ。村の連中は半ば本気でタタリを信じてるんだから。
私だってタタリなんか信じちゃいませんよ。
Yeah, Oishi-san said this earlier. Yeah, his chief told him this. The past incidents have been all closed. Yes, he said this when I think was talking to Keiichi earlier, right? Yeah.
大石さんは来年で退職じゃないですか。退職金でローン返してお母さんと北海道に引っ越すんじゃなかったっけ？
ばあ様がどうしても生まれの北海道に帰りたいって泣くんですよ。最後のご奉公なんです。退職金はまあ歓楽街で楽しむことにします。な
所長は退職時特別昇給を見直すかもってさ。
A public servant's severance pay is calculated based on their monthly salary when they retire. So a special promotion of 2 pay grades is given before retirement. This tops up the employee's severance payment. That tends to be how it's done around here. Of course, it's not exactly a commendable custom. Incidentally, the difference that 2 pay grades make to the payout is quite significant.
さすがインテリの若所長は言い出すことが模範的です。でもまあ私たちの給料が血税で支払われてることを思えばまあ時代の流れですかね。
It certainly wasn't a laughing matter, but I'll laugh through it anyway.
僕も模範的なこととは思わないよ。でもまあ大石さんはそれだけの退職金をもらってもおかしくない活躍をしてきたからさ。僕としてはぜひもらってほしいんだよ。
もらえるもんならそりゃ欲しいですけどね。
もらえるよ。大石さんが大人なら。
運転手さん、引き止めてすみませんね。お願いします。
I closed the door roughly, interrupting the department chief's conversation a bit rudely. It looked like he still had something to say, but he just smiled really and waved, and I waved in return. The cab sped up gradually and soon disappeared among the sea lights. Jesus.
参ったな。ローン返済できるかな。
Okay, loan. Okay, I will remember that. Did he ever mention a loan back then? No, I think this is the first time we're hearing that loan, right? Okay, so yeah. Very I mean, every episode is kind of intense. Like it was just normal earlier, right? And then it became when he went home because Mion and Rena visited. But goddamn it, Matt, putting a needle in your food and a mochi at that. Goddamn, they're trying to kill him. Yeah, like one stab at that at your throat and you could bleed to death. Jesus. I don't know, man. I mean, I guess he's going to school tomorrow, right? What is he gonna do? My prediction to this one is Keiichi is gonna be... Yeah, it's gonna be super paranoid. Little by little. I mean, it started already, right? Ever since the one with Tomitaki-san at, like, yeah, the night of the Watanagashi, basically, right? But now, with all of this happening, Rena being like that the first time, and then now with Mion and both of them, and then now this food with the needle. Yeah, I think Keiichi's mind is gonna go... It's just gonna go down and down and down and down and down. I think more events are gonna be happening here until he snaps, I suppose. We will have to see what happens. But yeah, let's see what happens first next episode as he goes back to school, right? If he goes back to school. He might say, I'm sick again. But Mion kind of warned him, right? That he needs to go to school, basically. Right? We'll just see. So anyways, we're gonna continue this and do more of Higurashi When They Cry Chapter 1, Onikakushi, in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye-bye.